All right, here we go. This is step one of the cube project, and this first part of it is going to be called the isometric sketches of the cube puzzle pieces. And so to give you some idea of visual, this is what we're heading towards. So you are designing puzzle pieces, either 5 or 6, that when assembled together form a 3 by 3 by 3 cube that's going to end up looking like these. You will be designing them using SolidWorks this year for 3D modeling, but that'll be after you actually design them physically and sketch them. And then the end of the project, you will be running one of your parts on the rapid prototyper. So that's what it's going to look like. To start with, you're going to have the combination of wooden and plastic cubes. The little plastic cubes do join together to form different, you can make your different pieces. I would suggest using a different color for each piece. The wooden cubes that we have are 3/4 inch cubes, which means they're 3/4 of an inch on each of the sides. And you're going to need 27 of them, but you won't need those until later in the project after you've sketched and designed your different pieces. The first step, the first 10 points of this project are going to be the creation of the isometric sketches of your various pieces. So once you decide what kind of pieces you're going to use, you're going to want to get a piece of isometric paper, which looks like the background of this right here. You can see all those triangles. Isometric paper is set up with little there's 60-degree little equilateral triangles that are set at 30 degrees off of the horizon, so that you can draw all 3 faces with equal importance. So you get the front face, you get the right side face, and the top face. By definition, that's what an isometric view is, and it allows us to get a nice representation, a 3D representation of your product. This little step-by-step right here gives you an idea of how to do just a little cube using isometric paper. Because they're cubes, you should never have to deviate from the lines of the isometric paper. And also, I would like you to, when you build your parts out of the plastic cubes, I would like you to assume that each cube is 1/2 inch in width. It's not actually. Let's pretend like they are 1/2 inch in width, because the isometric paper you're going to be using is 1/4 inch grid, which means you would use 2 blocks for each of the actual plastic blocks that you use to build your parts. Now that's not what it shows in this image right here. These are all drawn as 1/4 inch widths, but I want yours to be 1/2 inch widths. So every edge of yours, every block edge of yours should be 2 blocks of the isometric paper. And when you're done, it should start looking something like this. So you're seeing a 3-dimensional object with the front, the top, and the right side views. Now real quick, just to point out the differences between isometric and some of the other views that you will see this year. An oblique view, you look straight on the front view, and the depth is typically set back at 45 degrees. So the most important part, the view with the most importance to it is this front-facing view right here. That's called oblique. Isometric, the one we just talked about, where there's equal importance given to all 3 sides. Then you have your perspective drawings, and these tend to be your most realistic looking drawings. So this is a 1-point perspective, and what that means is somewhere out in this direction there's what's called a vanishing point. If we were to extend these lines that go back, they would all come together back here, and that does make it look much more realistic, and we'll talk more about perspective views later. And this is a 2-point perspective, where if we extended these lines, there would be a vanishing point over here, and there would also be a vanishing point over here. So that would be a 2-point perspective. You don't need to know that for now. For this grade check, you're going to have a piece of isometric paper with your 5 or 6 cube pieces that you created. You will have them each sketched out on the isometric paper, and I also want them tonal shaded, which means that like the top face here has no shading, and you see there's no shading, no shading, no shading. Those are all top views. But this front view right here, and this front view, and this front view have a light shading so we can see them, that they're all facing the same orientation, and this right side view has a darker shading. Okay, so it's consistent, and what it does is it helps that 3-dimensional sketch to really jump out at the viewer. So I'd like to see all 5 or 6 of your pieces drawn on the isometric paper with tonal shading, and that's the first 10 points of this project.